What is going on, guys? Welcome to GPL Live. The Sixers got the W tonight, 119-110 against the Indiana Pacers. You're watching our post-game show. We're going to break down our top takeaways. We're going to talk about player of the game and break down our team grades. Joining me today is my man, Justin. You know him on Twitter at J_Bersacetti. Justin, what's up, man?
What is going on, everybody? Listen, this did not look good today. I'm going to be honest with you. This game did not look good. I did not think we were going to come out with a W, but listen, Furkan Korkmaz, Matisse Thybulle, our man Ben Simmons, the man himself, the man with the slander, Ben Simmons got it done today. No Joel Embiid, and we were able to beat a pretty decent team, in my opinion. Listen, they surprised me, but I'm glad they surprised me.
My goodness, let's dive in. Also joining us is my man, Tiago, one of the best Sixers followers on Twitter. You name it, he is at T-Scabby on Twitter. Tiago, what's good, man?
Can anybody guess what Indiana's win probability was with 7 minutes left in the game?
1,000%.
With 7 minutes left in the game, Indiana's win probability was 98.4%. So,
oh my God.
It probably goes down as one of the most improbable comebacks in Philadelphia in recent Sixers history, especially doing it without your best player MVP. So
yeah,
this was a fantastic basketball game from fourth quarter on. The Sixers played just a superb game. So yeah, very excited tonight.
Man, what an amazing win! Because going into this game, the Sixers 0-4 without Joel Embiid. You saw the kind of the way the vibe this game has been. Like the Sixers, this was a game of run, just like basketball always is. The Sixers would make a tiny run, and then the Indiana Pacers always had an answer. They shot the lights out in the entire game. But man, let's talk about the fourth quarter and truly Doc Rivers' presence on this basketball team. The Sixers went into this game having the number one fourth quarter margin in the NBA, plus 2.9. The Sixers outscored the Pacers 37-15, led by defense, led by Matisse Thybulle, led by Furkan Korkmaz. Unbelievable bench performance from the Sixers, but really that fourth quarter, starting with defense, what an absolute unbelievable, improbable win by the Philadelphia 76ers. Justin, what's one of your takeaways?
Dude, I just put it up in the chat right here, put it on the screen. 21-4 run in the fourth quarter is ridiculous. The whole game, the Pacers were hot from three. Malcolm Brogdon was killing us. Domantas Sabonis was making some tough shots over Ben Simmons. And at the end of the game, dude, it just seemed like we were able to find our shots, play hard defense. Matisse Thybulle coming in clutch at the end of the game with some clutch makes on the offensive end and some tough deflections on the defensive end. Ben Simmons, listen, if anybody sits here in the comments and tries to slander Ben Simmons tonight, I'm going to have a problem. We're going to have a problem tonight because, listen, Ben Simmons played amazing tonight. He is one of my biggest takeaways. I mean, 21 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds.
You know what game?
Sorry.
9 for 12 from the field, 2 blocks, 4 steals. Dude. Ben Simmons was that dog tonight, and he did it without Joel Embiid, and that's what we needed. That's what we needed to see, and you can see how much more comfortable he is getting, especially not with you're seeing the experiment. And I'm gonna say this final takeaway before I let you go, Tiago. I'm sorry. But final takeaway I would say is him at that 5 role when he comes in playing that backup center role. I think him having all those guards around him, all those shooters around him really helps his game out, and you can tell on the court. So they obviously have to figure that part out defensively a little bit more throughout the game, but overall I think it worked out really well for him.
What about you, Tiago? Top takeaways?
Yeah, it wasn't awful with Ben at the 5 today. Mm-hmm. It's usually bad, especially defensively, but I thought that he did okay. Obviously, they matched him up against their backup center, so he didn't really go up against Sabonis or Turner, but offensively, they had a lot of pace and they were hitting a lot of shots. And defensively, it was fine. It wasn't anything great, but they survived those minutes, which was critical when you don't have like we talked about adjustments, right? I mean, fourth quarter, man, what did Doc do? He went to that 2-3 zone, and he had Thibault and Ben on top of that zone, one on each side. And the moment he switched that zone, Indiana had they had nothing. They didn't know what to do. They tried to dribble through it, and Thibault would swipe, but they tried to pass around that, and Simmons would, steal it. It was really impressive, and they stuck with it through most of the fourth quarter. I was really shocked that the Pacers, I don't even know what the Pacers coach is, his name, but he didn't call a timeout from 7 minutes on until about a minute left in the game. And you could just see them struggling with that zone. And it was the reason why the Sixers got back in the game. And I've been very critical of Thibault because he has been mostly a big zero offensively. But tonight you saw the impact that he brings defensively. I mean, he literally won that game defensively for them with his impact on that end. And I mean, stuff like that has tremendous value on your roster. So a big shout to Matisse, who's been playing really well defensively. And tonight, man, he brought it, man. There's no questions asked. So the adjustments for Doc for me was a big takeaway for the game today.
Yeah, we talk about how strong this Sixers starting lineup was. What an impressive effort from the Sixers bench tonight. 56 points, led by Furkan Korkmaz, 17 points. Dwight Howard had 11 points and 15 rebounds. Shake Milton, 9 points. Tyrese Maxey had 9 points. Matisse Thibault only had 8 points. But, dude, that guy was literally all over the court in the fourth quarter and second half. That's another one of my takeaways, was the second unit truly stepped up in the absence of Joel Embiid. Thiago, do you have any other takeaways?
Yeah, I thought Maxey played pretty well. Shake has been struggling the last couple of weeks, especially last week and a half. And I thought Maxey came in and gave him some good minutes. My big takeaway was back to what Justin was saying about Ben Simmons. For whatever reason, the Pacers thought it was a good idea to pick Ben Simmons up at half court today. And they did that for most of the game. And if you're going to pick up Ben Simmons at half court, he's going to drive right by you and attack the rim. And I thought that Ben understood that early, and he was very aggressive. So he was not passing up any opportunity. The moment Brogdon or anybody came at him, he made the dribble, went right by the defender, and attacked the rim. And I think that's what you want out of Ben Simmons. I thought that, he finished what? He finished, let me take a look, 9 for 12, right? So you're starting to see Ben finish better at the rim. It's starting to trend up to what his career numbers are. And those early season struggles are slowly coming in the rear view mirror. So, Ben's been playing well. He's been playing really well here the last 2 weeks. So let's hope this continues. But I thought tonight he was like, man, I got to take this on and let's do this. So props to Ben tonight.
Ben Simmons, where is that? Hold on one second. Let me find my stats here. Ben Simmons, assist to turnover ratio was 4.8 over the last 5 games, only 1.6 turnovers per game. You look at the last game with no Joel Embiid, only 8.1 turnover percentage. You look at tonight, 12 turnovers by the Philadelphia 76ers. Could Doc Rivers and the Sixers start to kind of limit those turnovers and start figuring it out with Joel Embiid? Maybe. Justin, what's one of your takeaways or other takeaways of this game?
Furkan Korkmaz.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of freaking hate on the chat here right now.
Yeah. Okay. And let me be honest with you. Obviously, Furkan usually does not have a big role on this team, at least so far this year. But he really, and we got to give him his props though. He really showed out tonight. He showed what he can do in some games in late game moments when it's asked of him. And that, I think I give even more props to Doc Rivers for it as well, that he kept him out there and gave him that hot hand minutes over guys like Danny Green, over guys like Seth Curry at times. And I think that shows. I mean, Seth Curry wasn't hitting at the end of the game today, and he brought in Furkan Korkmaz, and he was. And I think it makes a lot of sense. Furkan Korkmaz ended with 17 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds, 50% from the field, 6 of 12, 3 of 5 from the 3-point territory, 100% from the free throw, 26 plus or minus. Good game, very good game. And mind you, we don't talk a lot about Furkan, and we talk a lot. Well, I mean, sorry, we do talk a lot about Furkan, but it's not always in the positive light. But I'll tell you what, he showed what he can do tonight. He hit some 3-pointers, he hit some mid-range shots, he played some decent defense. you can't ask much more from a guy who's not making a lot of money and is a role player on this team. So he stepped up tonight, and I think that really needs to be known.
Amen.
Just one point on Furkan, sorry. When we think about like the clutch time, right? So who's going to take the shots on this team? Like he does not give a you know what. Like he gets the ball, man, and he shoots it. It doesn't matter the time, the score. So you got to give him credit for that. I think him and Tobias, for the most part, did not shy away from the moment. They have their own separate flaws, but you got to at least recognize that they are very confident players. So that deserves a little bit of respect.
Yeah. I agree, and if I can, I'd like to talk about Tobias Harris a little bit while we're on the subject of Tobias and Furkan both like not really caring in that clutch moments. Tobias Harris 27 points. Excuse me, Tobias Harris 27 points tonight. Really came out and showed out in a game where Joel Embiid, your star player, is not in there, and he was my player of the game tonight. So I just want to. I called it a little bit there, but Tobias Harris going off tonight, 10 of 19, 8 rebounds, which doesn't surprise anybody. I feel like he always is getting a good amount of rebounds. 1 block, 2 for 5 from the 3-point territory, 100% from the free throw line. Only a plus 10, probably because of the turnovers. Had 4 fouls. Not the best defender tonight, but I mean nobody was defending very well tonight. The Pacers were hot. Ben Simmons, Matisse obviously coming in well at the end of the game, but more or less Tobias Harris making some big shots at the end of the game in the mid range, banging down low tonight. Overall, great game from Tobias in a night where he had to step up with Joel not playing.
All right, is that your player of the game, Justin? Tobias Harris.
Oh hell yeah!
All right, Tobias Harris is Justin's player of the game. I'm going to roll with Matisse Thybulle. This game was earned and won in the fourth quarter. The Sixers outscored them by 12 points, 7. I don't know. I can't do the math right now. But Matisse Thybulle was an absolute monster on the defensive end in that fourth quarter. This is a dude that has a ridiculous 7.2 deflections per 36, which leads the team in January. We saw during our previous post-game show where Doc Rivers raved about Matisse Thybulle's defense. He had like 12 deflections in that game against the Timberwolves. Matisse Thybulle was the anchor of how the Sixers got back into this game. The Sixers struggled to really control momentum at all until the fourth quarter. Korkmaz is a good one. Tobias is a good one. I'm going to go Matisse Thybulle. What about you, Tiago?
I mean, Matisse by far was the most impactful player tonight on the defensive end. But let's give Dwight Howard a little bit of love too, because he's been bad, man. Like he's been really, really bad these last couple of weeks. And he played the entire fourth quarter or most of the fourth quarter, hit clutch free throws, 5 for 12 from the line. So again, not pretty, but he needed a couple of free throws here and there. 7 offensive rebounds, right? Plus 23. I thought that he handled Miles Turner and Sabonis pretty well inside. Miles Turner finished with 9 points on 1 for 6. So, I thought that this was a good Dwight game. You needed a good Dwight game. You couldn't survive with Tony Bradley, and you obviously can't survive with Simmons at the 5. So I thought that Howard played a really, really solid night tonight.
Love it. And
we should probably talk about Ben Simmons a little bit.
I was just about to say that. If no one's going to pick Ben Simmons, then we're going to have an entire segment on
Tiago,
Ben.
I thought you were going to go Ben Simmons tonight.
Me too.
Hey, you guys know I'm a big Ben guy, man. I love Ben. I love the way that he plays the game. I thought he was great tonight, man. And he's like I said earlier, he's finishing better at the rim. And people love scoring, right? So the guy put up 20 points tonight. What else are you going to complain about?
No, and I think that's important to say because that's something I've been commenting on all season is that Ben, it's not like he's being a completely different player than he usually was earlier this season. I will say, obviously, he was making the mistakes of jumping up and trying to throw the ball everywhere and sometimes early in the season, and we definitely crushed him when he was doing that. We made a lot of comments on that. The media did, fans did. But here's the thing. Ben was learning the offense. Ben was learning the players around him. And now you can see he's starting to get more comfortable with them and starting to learn their spots a little bit more. And you're seeing he's more comfortable with scoring in this as well. He's getting to the rim more often, and he's scoring on a more consistent basis. And I think that was like you just said, that was the main issue we were having with him early in the season was the turnovers and the fact that he was not scoring efficiently where he usually is efficient. And you've been seeing against a guy like Miles Turner, who has been playing very well for the Pacers as of late with getting a lot of blocks so far. And you've seen he was able to get in there and be very efficient today, going 9 for 12 on the game.
And just to get one more point, sorry, Chris, I'm going to say, because just to type in what Justin's saying, he's finishing better at the rim because he's like slowing down. So if you watch him, at one point today, he did a little like up and under move. That's a guy who's under control, who's not just going at 100 miles per hour from point A to point B. So you can start to see like the coaching points are getting to him. And he just looks healthy, he looks faster, he looks stronger. So when you put those things together over the course of a long season, it's going to come out in Ben's favor because he's a naturally gifted talent. So I'm hopeful for a good second half year from Ben Simmons this year.
Yeah, you look at Ben, it really comes down to 7 assists, 3 turnovers tonight. You look over the last couple games, 5.9 turnover percentage, 7.8 turnover percentage. You look over the last 5 games, Ben's assist to turnover ratio 4.8, 1.6 turnovers per game. If Ben can limit the turnovers, I can live with that 14 to 15 points per game. But really, it comes down to great defense, limiting the turnovers, which we have seen. Let's go.
That's crazy.
Yeah, look at this.
11 deflection in the last quarter. Oh my God.
That's like a game's worth for like a top player in the NBA. That's insane.
And look at this too. We got Dwight had a plus 23, Korkmaz had a plus 26 tonight.
Unbelievable.
Role players coming out and showing out when they need to. When your best player, MVP candidate, is not in the lineup, your role players stepping up, and that's what they needed this game. They had to scare us a little bit and come out in the fourth quarter. That was it. They just had to freak us out a little bit first, and then they came out to play.
Well, ERTH Pig says, Doc using that John Chaney matchup zone brought a tear to my eye. You mentioned it post game.
Yeah, rest in peace for sure. Yeah, much respect.
Well, comment of the night there by far. Comment of the night. Let's go into how you would grade tonight's performance. Justin, you're up.
Tonight's performance, oh my God, it's so tough because with Joel Embiid not in the game, you could say like they're obviously still trying to figure things out, and I think that's more than obvious. Overall, I would say probably a B plus just because they won the game. I think it would be lower if they didn't win. Obviously, they were able to come back and make it a game, but overall, you could tell the defense was a little lax in the beginning of the game. Plus, the Pacers were just hitting some shots, honestly. Offensively, we were missing. Danny Green had a bit of a rough game offensively early. But I got to give the A plus to Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers really showing out offensively and showing adjustments, showing that giving people the hot hand, not adjusting. Because something that I heard about Doc Rivers coming into this season was that he was a guy who wasn't good at adjusting. I heard from a bunch of people that Doc was somebody who just stuck with his game plan, stuck with everything. I don't think his game plan was to have Furkan Korkmaz playing in the fourth quarter at the end. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think that's the game plan. I don't think it's the game plan
That's not on the scouting report. There's no Korkmaz in the scouting report.
I don't think Korkmaz is normally going to be playing in the fourth quarter. I think that happens because Korkmaz was shooting well at the end of the third and shooting well at the beginning of the fourth. Stuck six with a hot hand and comes out well for you. Just to me, it's a B plus because they won the game. Obviously, they struggled, but Doc Rivers is raising that grade for me. He had a really great game coaching wise.
What about you, Tiago?
Yeah, the process to get to the win is about like a C plus, right? Because it was kind of really messy through most of the game. But it's really impressive, to see Doc understand his personnel so early, because they had 2 preseason games, and they're game 20 21. That's really impressive. Brett had this team or part of this team for 4 or 5 years, whatever the number is, and he was never really didn't seem like he had a complete feel of when to use who in what moments. And Doc seems to have that magic touch, right? So not being so rigid with the rotation and kind of using guys, when they're hot, sticking with guys. And this worked, man. Keeping Thibault in obviously was a big thing.
Yeah.
Taking out Shake, putting in Maxey. Those things seems to be more on the fly decisions. And it's worked well for the Sixers. It helped them win tonight. There's no question about that. So Doc gets an A. And the effort was top-notch.
I actually have a question real quick. Were you guys surprised to see Matisse Thybulle getting some plays run for him late in the game tonight? Like, he actually had like a play run for him where he got a nice layup at the rim and got fouled on the layup. Were you kind of surprised to see that?
Yeah, Matisse is he's a good cutter, and I think I know what the play you're talking about. So he's coming off screen, I think, and he gets the ball, he drives downhill. Matisse is a pretty good cutter. He has cutting qualities. He's a big, wide body. So I could see something like that working. Obviously, you don't want him to bounce the ball and dribble, but he can be more than just a spot up shooter. But he has to have opportunities and work on his game. But he has some good cutting qualities, and I think he sees similar things in his game.
No, that's something I actually noticed last year. Like, you saw some hard cuts from him last year with some nice dunks from him as well. He's got that athletic ability. I think a big portion of it, he has a hard time with touch, has a hard time with dribbling that ball. He's got those long arms, he's got the strong body. He has a hard time keeping that ball on a string. And I think that's what's going to fall for Suns with him on his fault in his game, Suns on this team. But overall, like, it surprised me that they used him in that way at this late of a game where it mattered in the win or loss. So I'm okay with it though. I'm happy. He made the shot. They gave him a chance and he got what they wanted. So it worked. But I just wanted to understand your opinions on that one.
I wonder how I could grade tonight's performance. It's an A. We get an A tonight, maybe. The Sixers get an A. Come on, guys. Having a perspective of where we were to where we are now. You're looking at a Sixers team, 22 outscored the Pacers 22 points or so in the fourth quarter, led by Tobias Harris and Ben Simmons. How many times do we say again and again the Sixers are being led by their big three? They're not turning over the ball. They have a head coach that understands how to put their positions in positions to succeed. And in the fourth quarter, they show up led by defense. This is a dream. This is a dream. And this is 100% an A for me that you saw Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, Furkan Korkmaz, and guys step up when they have to. You look at the last game with Joel Embiid, limited turnovers. Tonight, limited turnovers. Good signs, good vibes. I'm the glass half full guy tonight. Let's go. The Sixers are rolling. The Sixers are rolling, led by defense. That is their identity. The Sixers' identity is a second-half team built on defense, and Ben Simmons was terrific. Tobias Harris was terrific. Matisse Thybulle was terrific. It was just led all by defense, and I'm just ecstatic. This is fun basketball because the first three quarters, it was not fun basketball.
No.
You know who was not terrific, Chris? There's one person who was not terrific in the fourth quarter.
Who?
His name was TJ McConnell. I will go back and look at those turnovers in the fourth quarter. It was a train wreck. So, because I know a couple years ago there was a talk about TJ McConnell getting point guard duties over Ben Simmons in the playoffs, right? And just watch that fourth quarter, and you see why TJ McConnell.
Well, you also see he got clamped up a little. Like TJ got clamped up a little bit by Matisse Thybulle at the end. Matisse got a block on him. He tipped the ball out of his hands as well. Like Thybulle was going at him tonight.
All right, Justin, plugs and final thoughts.
Okay. Final thoughts. I mean, listen, like, you can't go wrong tonight. Ben Simmons went off in a game that he needed to. Joel not in the lineup. Can't say much more to that. Tobias Harris went off as well, and he was my player of the game tonight. Furkan Korkmaz stepping up out of his role to help win this game. Matisse Thybulle and Ben Simmons both playing amazing defensively in the fourth to bring this game back. Sixers went on a 21-4 run in the fourth. I mean, you don't see that often. It is not easy to win a game like that in the NBA when you're down by that much going into the end of a game, especially with a team that still has their best players on the floor. So that, I think, to me, that just shows how much fight this team has in them, how much fight this bench has in them, and how much this team really wants to win this year. And I think it's exciting. I think we should be grateful that we have a great coach in here like Doc Rivers, who's able to make those adjustments and win you a game at the end. yeah, I think that's it. So plugs, I guess, for me. Please, if you want to, go follow me on Twitter. I'd really appreciate it. I'm on my road to 300 followers on Twitter, almost there. So please go follow my Twitter account. It's on your screen right now, J_Persichetti. Please subscribe to the channel. Subscribe if you are not already. We'd really appreciate it. Please like the video. We'd really appreciate that as well. And make sure when we get done this, so your comment shows up in the comments section under the video, please write that W for the Sixers tonight. W for Furkan, Ben, put all their names in there. Great game from them.
Tiago.
Yeah, so I finished up an article. I did a deep dive on Tobias Harris' defense against the Lakers. He was really good defensively beyond just the game-winning shot. Defended Anthony Davis, defended Marcus Gasol, defended LeBron James. So if you understand what that looks like, check that out. And also wrote about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's been playing really well with Oklahoma City. Now Chris Paul left, and he has a lot of Chris Paul elements to his game. So he's a really fun player to watch. If you guys want to understand a little bit more about, what that looks like, also check that out as well.
All right, guys. And tomorrow morning, I'll be dropping highlight reels from January of
the party. Sorry.
Okay. I'll be dropping January highlight reels of Tyrese Maxey, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, ball movement, and best of Sixers highlight reels tomorrow at the Painted Lines YouTube channel. It's going to be a good time. So they are dropping there. Anyway, I just want to say thank you to everybody watching here tonight. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on notifications. You guys are the best. We've had comments rolling all night long. Make sure you follow my man Justin at J_Persichetti. Follow my man Tiago at Tscabia. Check out all of his amazing content at thepaintedlines.com. Literally content you can't find anywhere else. Thank you guys. For Justin, for Tiago, for myself. Sixers win, baby. Stay awesome.
Peace.